I lost 50 pounds in just 4 months back in 2018, but along the way, I made four huge mistakes. Since then, I've learned from those mistakes and coached hundreds of men one-on-one, helping them to get leaner, stronger, healthier, and more confident. So I've seen firsthand what works and what doesn't. And today I want to save you years of both time and effort by sharing the four things I wish I'd known 6 years ago so that you can lose weight and burn fat faster. Number one, the quality of the food that you eat is just as important as the quantity. Let me explain. Social media gets a bad rap, doesn't it? But I think one of the best things that's come out of social media in the last few years has been the widespread discussion about the fact that you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight and burn body fat. I mean, speaking from personal experience, social media, I think it was Instagram, was how I first found out about it. So if it wasn't for social media, maybe I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you about it now. If you're trying to lose weight, the very first thing that you need to figure out is how many calories you should be eating to create a calorie deficit. And then you want to track your calories and your food to make sure that you're actually in a deficit. But fat loss isn't just a numbers game. And I think that message has been a little bit oversimplified. Everyone's become obsessed with hitting their calorie target no matter what. And there's not much regard for the type of food, the quality of the food that they're eating. In other words, too much emphasis is put on the calorie quantity and not enough on the calorie quality. And truth be told, it kind of depends on your age, because if you are in your 20s, I think calorie quantity is far more important than calorie quality. Your metabolism's higher, you're probably going to be more active, you've probably got less commitments, you're outside more, you've got higher testosterone, more energy. So it's less of an issue at that stage. But as you get into your 30s, 40s, certainly your 50s, your 60s, calorie quality becomes just as important, if not more important. And particularly as you get past 35 into your 40s, fat loss becomes so much easier if you're just as focused on the calorie quality as you are on the quantity. And I wish I'd known this 6 years ago, because I was 31 back then. I wasn't one of these young bucks who could just eat whatever they wanted, and as long as it fit their macros, everything was going to be hunky-dory. Like I say, in theory, that is true. But the thing is, theory isn't reality. And the chances are, if you put all the emphasis on the quantity of the calories with no regard for the quality of them, speaking from experience of coaching hundreds of men over the last 6 years all over the world, you're just going to give up on your deficit after a couple of weeks. It's going to be next to impossible for you to stick with it and remain consistent. I want to be clear, that's not to say that you need to eat 100% clean all day, every day, but we really need to understand and recognize the fact that junk and processed food is absolutely awful for you. And the most alarming thing is that in 2025, it's only getting worse, because not only are the macronutrients in that food absolutely horrible with really high saturated and even trans fats, but they almost have zero protein in them. A lot of these foods contain what we call empty calories, where they count towards your calorie budget, but they don't actually add any nutritional value. The biggest effect I think that it has is on your endocrine system, on your hormones, on your insulin and your glucagon, which control your blood sugar level, on your cortisol, which controls your stress, on your sex hormones, your testosterone or your estrogen if you're a woman, and of course your hunger hormones, your leptin and your ghrelin. Now, normally your hormones are, just in a nice balance, but if you're eating terrible quality food every day, your hormones are going to be going like this all day, every day, and you're just going to become basically mentally unstable. All of those hormones are going to be negatively impacted if you just hit your calorie target with no regard for the quality of the food that you're eating. You'll sleep worse, you'll crave more food, you'll never feel full, you'll have crazy mood swings and a lot of brain fog. I mean, basically, you're just going to feel like absolute trash. On the other hand, if you get 80% of your food from single ingredient, nutrient dense, whole foods, not only are you going to find it so much easier to stay within your calories, but you're going to feel so much better. And another massive benefit that I have to admit I completely forgot about until about 2 seconds ago is that you'll look better, because as well as all the chaos and destruction that junk and processed food causes on your endocrine system, on your sleep, on your energy, on your mood, on all the other stuff we just talked about, it also wreaks havoc on your gut microbiome. It causes a lot of chronic gastrointestinal inflammation. So yes, your calorie target is obviously important if you want to lose weight and burn body fat, but it's not particularly sustainable on its own. So the way that I work with my clients now is help them to build a diet, a system more so than anything, that really works for them. And I do that by basing it on 5 golden rules. Now, I've just taken you through one of those 5, that we want to eat about 80% of our food from single ingredient, whole, nutrient dense foods. But let's talk about the other 4 quickly. You also want to make sure that your diet is omnivorous. You don't need to be following extreme protocols like vegan or carnivore. So I'd encourage you to eat plenty of lean meats, fish, dairy, and eggs, but make sure you're getting lots of fruit and vegetable as well. The third golden rule is that you want to make sure your diet is quick and simple. You want to be able to cook all of your meals in 20 minutes or less. As much as we wish we did, none of us have time for 3-hour recipes. And I think one of the biggest things that puts people off healthy eating is the idea that it's going to take hours to make the food, but nothing could be further from the truth. And the last golden rule is the most important of them all, and that's that you want to enjoy your diet. Because if you don't love what you eat, you're not going to stick to it. So I'd recommend that you find snacks and treats that feel like cheat codes to you, because they're low in calories but delicious. And that's going to stop you from going off the rails and binging at the weekends. It takes some trial and error to build the golden rules into your life, but to make it easier for you, I want to give you a gift. I've just put the finishing touches on a brand new recipe book that contains 15 fat-burning meals that tick every single box. They're delicious, healthy, high in protein, and so simple that even a man like me can make them. Because trust me, I might be a nutritionist, but I am no master chef. Plus, every recipe comes complete with calories, ingredients, and instructions. I call it the Anti-Diet Recipe Book, and you can grab your free copy by clicking the link under this video. Moving on to number 2. I wish I'd known that all 3 macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fat, are equally important, because I used to think that carbs were the devil, that they were the thing that was holding me back from burning my belly fat and being able to see my abs. Oh, how wrong I was, because all 3 of the macronutrients play a vital role towards your health. First up, we have protein. So, fun fact for you, the word protein actually comes from the ancient Greek word protos, which means first, which gives you an idea of just how important it is. Now, we all know that protein is very important when it comes to building and maintaining the old muscle mass, but it does so much more than that, and it's absolutely vital when it comes to fat loss. One of the key indicators to how fast your metabolism is comes down to how much lean muscle mass that you have. The more muscle mass that you have, the faster your metabolism is going to be. And as we've just said, protein is absolutely vital for building and maintaining that muscle mass. But I want to be clear, we're not talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger level muscles here. We're talking about lean muscle mass here. So we're talking about an amount of muscle mass that can cover your whole body, protect all your joints, and keep your body healthy. And the other reason that protein is so important and so beneficial when it comes to fat loss is because it's the hardest of the 3 macronutrients for your body to digest, process, and break down. And as a result of that, it physically sits in your stomach for longer. And when that happens, it expands the walls of your stomach, which sends a signal all the way up to the brain, telling it that you are full. It brings your hunger hormone called ghrelin right down. And if that wasn't enough benefits to sell you on protein, another one is that it's the most thermogenic of the 3 macronutrients. You see, because it's the hardest of the 3 macros to break down, process, and digest, it requires the most effort. And if it requires the most effort, it means it requires the most energy. And your body's currency of energy is calories. So when you eat a high protein diet, you're actually burning more calories just by digesting the food. Now let's talk about carbs. It's fair to say they've picked up a bad reputation along the way, but they're actually our body's preferred source of energy. And without them, you're going to experience a lot of brain fog, you're going to feel very sluggish, and your workouts are going to really suffer. Plus, the right kind of carbs like whole grains and veggies gives your body the fiber it needs for good digestion and optimized gut health. Carbs also play a vital role in fueling your brain. Most people don't even realize, but your brain is the most metabolic organ in your body. And you might be very surprised to hear that your brain is burning anything from 600 to 1,000 calories every day. And the thing is, your brain runs exclusively on a simple sugar called glucose, which comes from carbs. So when you're not getting enough, it can really impact your mental performance as well. And don't forget, carbs are equally important for your recovery after your workouts. After intense exercise, your muscles are completely depleted of something called glycogen, which is the stored form of glucose. So you want to make sure that you're constantly fueling your body with glucose, with carbohydrates, so that you're recovering from your workouts, reducing the amount of soreness that you're getting, and preparing your muscles for the next workout. Now, it's also worth me saying that if you cut your carbs too low, your body will start to break down and metabolize the protein and the fat that you're eating. And when that happens, it means the protein and the fat can't be used for their primary roles. Speaking of, let's talk about fat. Now, I don't know who is in charge of naming the macronutrients, but whoever came up with the genius idea to call one of the macronutrients fat is a bit of an idiot, because eating fat doesn't make you fat. In fact, fat is very important for your health. By the way, I should say it took me about 15 goes to say that line, because fat and fact and having to say it like 4 times. I'm just glad it's over. Healthy fats support your endocrine system, your hormones, which we touched on earlier, but in particular, your testosterone levels, which is very important for burning fat, building muscle, and your overall mental health. They also help keep your heart healthy and absorb vitamins from the food that you're eating. Fat also can provide you with long-lasting energy. You see, while carbs are used for quick energy, think of fat like your backup fuel. And really importantly, they help to keep your energy levels stable throughout the day, which is super important because it helps prevent those mid-afternoon crashes that we're all too familiar with. And on top of that, healthy fats are anti-inflammatory. In other words, they help support your immune system. But this isn't just important for your immune system and your heart health, it's equally important for your joint health, particularly as you get older. Omega-3 fats, which are mainly found in fish, but you can obviously supplement with them, are very anti-inflammatory. So you see, cutting out any one of these macronutrients isn't the answer. You want a good balance of all three macros to feel your best and see results. Before we talk about number 3, if you're enjoying the video, I'd really appreciate if you could do me a tiny favor and just click the subscribe button that's underneath this video so that we can grow the channel and help spread this message to more men. I'm embarrassed to say that what I'm about to tell you is a true story, but I used to really struggle to get through the day without slipping into a coma because I was so tired and lethargic. And it was crazy because I felt like I was doing everything right. But when I realized I was skipping on this one, on number 3, I wanted to kick myself. And when I tell you what it is, you're probably going to want to slap yourself in the face a little bit. And that's drinking more water and staying hydrated, because I never realized the crazy effect that dehydration has on your energy levels, your mental clarity, and even your ability to stick to your diet. But water is like your body's secondary energy system. Think of the calories like the petrol that you put in your car to get it moving. But think of the water that you drink like the oil you put in your car to stop it breaking down. Water is so important that every cell in your body relies on it to function properly. And most people don't realize that it only takes you to be 1 or 2% dehydrated for your brain to start switching off and shutting down essential processes in your brain. And what that looks like in real life is that you start to feel lethargic, and suddenly the idea of sitting on the sofa and watching Netflix for 8 hours feels very appealing. But when you're dehydrated and you're lethargic and you're sitting on the sofa 8 hours into a Netflix binge, it means you're going to do less. And when you're doing less, you're burning less calories. And when you're burning less calories, you're going to find it a heck of a lot harder to burn body fat. Not only that, you're just going to feel worse about yourself. Contrast that to if you keep yourself well hydrated. You're going to have all day energy. You're going to have mental clarity, focus. You're going to have more drive, more get up and go. So I wouldn't blame you if your next question was, how much water should I be drinking then, Doug? Well, it might sound a little bit blunt, but the answer I give most people is more. Because at the end of the day, I can say with a pretty high degree of certainty that they're probably not drinking enough. But if you can aim to drink 3 liters of water a day, you'll be doing yourself a big favor. Now, drinking more water really isn't that tough if you put some focus into it. And to prove the point, I want to walk you through the simple system that I use to drink 3 liters of water by 9 a.m. every day. Firstly, I wake up at 6 a.m. and drink 500 milliliters of water with an electrolyte powder mixed in. Then I walk to the gym with a 2-liter bottle of water, and I will make sure that I finish that 2-liter bottle of water, which looks like this, by the time that I'm home from the gym. So that's walking to the gym, that's during my workout, and the walk home from the gym. And then when I get home from the gym, I'll have another 500 milliliters of water with a protein shake. Now, I'm not telling you this because I expect you to copy me. You don't need to drink 3 liters of water by 9 a.m. But I'm telling you this to prove a point to you, to inspire you, if anything, to show you that if I can do it by 9 a.m., you can definitely do it by 9 p.m. And if that wasn't enough motivation for you to drink more water, let me give you one more big benefit, particularly when it comes to fat loss. You see, when you drink more water, a little bit like when you eat more protein, it physically fills your stomach. And when it fills your stomach, it expands the walls of the stomach, sends that signal all the way up to your brain, telling you that you are full. Because more often than not, you're not hungry, you're thirsty. And then last but certainly not least, number 4 is that there is no best diet. Trust me when I tell you this, at one point or another in the past, I have jumped on every single diet trend, whether it's keto, intermittent fasting, Atkins, vegan, carnivore, Mediterranean, you name it. I've tried it. But here's the truth I wish I'd known back then. There is no single best diet that works for everybody. There is no magic bullet, there is no shortcut, and there is no secret sauce. In fact, the latest scientific research shows that only 5% of men who go on a diet actually stick to it. The other 95% of men put it back on, and some gain even more weight. But if that sounds like you, don't worry, because it's not your fault. Because the mistake that most men make is in their approach. They cut out carbs, they throw away all their favorite snacks, and they buy every fat-burning supplement they can find. In other words, they go all in. And listen, the truth is, I've been there myself, but that approach is a recipe for disaster. And it's why so many diets crash and burn. The truth is, you don't need a diet to lose weight, and you certainly don't need to go all in to see real results. Because when you cut out all the food that you love and follow an extreme diet, it's only a matter of time before you snap. Instead, you want to build a system into your life, something simple, flexible, easy to follow, and dare I say it, enjoyable. Because no one, and I mean no one, wants to be on a diet for the rest of their life. We're all different. So what worked for one person might not work for you. Some people swear by low carb diets, but others thrive on higher carbs. Some like intermittent fasting. I mean, me personally, I've never been able to get on board with it, but that's fine. The key is finding a diet. No, scratch that. It's finding a system that fits into your lifestyle. Because at the end of the day, whether it's a workout program or a diet, any of them can work. But the one that's going to work for you is the one that you can stick to. But if you follow what I've said in this video, you should find it a heck of a lot easier to lose weight and burn fat. So I really hope you've enjoyed the video, but more importantly, I hope you found it useful. Now, YouTube is going to recommend another one of my videos right here. Truth be told, I have no idea which video it's going to recommend because it's all based on what you've been searching for. However, YouTube is a pretty smart cookie and the algorithm knows what it's doing. So you can bet your bottom dollar that this video is going to help you out. So go and watch that one next. And until next time, cheers.